But people did come here. They risked it all. Most people came to Colorado via wagon trains and horseback and on foot, and came from the east, and they were looking for a new life. They were looking for a new experience, and this was an area that was very lately settled by different people. And it was because this area was not very easily accessible. No one really knew beyond 9 Mile Canyon, which is to the west of me right now, but is an area where a couple of people decided to start looking, because there was the Settlement Act and other acts that gave people land if they could prove that you could settle this area, and they would give them the land, and they would have to, within 6 years, prove that it was profitable and was used for farming and ranching. People like the Castos and the Masseys and the Gills and Nolan and Hubbards all came to this land and looked for a new way of life. They had to make everything by hand, and so they came here and started to settle. This mansion that you see before you was done by a guy by the name of Driggs. It's called the Driggs Mansion, and he, over 3 years, had a stoneworker come out here and build this by hand. He went to war, and then when he came back, he tried to move his family out here, and they would rather have been in New York City, so they didn't stay very long. It changed hands and became a hunting cabin, and then started falling apart and in disrepair, and is now owned by another person who has put it on the Historic Register of Places. And also before them, this area was a corridor for Indians, for the Fremont, and both the Fremont and the Ute Indians that came through this area. They came looking for elk, for pronghorn, for all kinds of other animals that may have been here a long time ago. And unlike today, there was a lot more wildlife back then, and they all traveled this area. And so the Utes and the Fremont Indians would follow these bands of people down places like this valley, because this valley has a creek that runs along it and is a way of bringing animals from high up on top of these plateaus. That's Pinyon Mesa up there, but they would bring them from way up there and then travel down here. They were nomadic, and they lived in teepees and wickiups, and didn't really settle an area. Sometimes they would grow corns, beans, and squash, but usually they kept moving, and it was based on seasonal availability of food. So there's a lot that's going on and has gone on, and as you can see as we pan down, there's a lot of farming and farming places, and most of these have been passed down through the generations from grandfather to father to son and so on.